Can we get the clicker? So this is perfect to start our session just because, as you guys can see, I was like, how do I get the crowd amped up? I was like, I'm going to trip going up stage. And obviously, I didn't do that. One of these days, it's going to happen. Also, did anyone lose their glasses? Yeah? Okay. We will leave them up here. Welcome to session 3. We are going to try to bring a little bit of energy, a little bit of amp up to this one because I know you guys just got done with lunch. You're checking emails. You got texts coming in, phone calls, etc. So I just want to promise you we're going to do everything we can to make this one the best one. Our first one was really good. Our second one was and this is going to be the best. Not that we're competitive as realtors. So at the end of this, we're going to say this was the best one. Thank you guys for coming. My name is Sky Michaels. If you don't know me, I'm the head of agent development here at Compass. And I always love to start our sessions with a little moment of meditation because of the fact that I really want to pull us all together as a family, bring us all into this room, and ground yourself. So if I could ask everyone right now to put your phones down, your computers, your notepad, whatever it might be, and just close your eyes. Don't go to sleep. And all I want you to do is notice your breath. You don't need to count it. You don't need to, pause. You don't need to be aware of it. Just notice it. There's my breath. Now I want you to think of something that makes you smile. Could be a memory of a family member. It could be a car you drive. It could be a sport you play. What is it that makes you smile? Just hold that and breathe. Now pull something into your mind that you love. It could be your kids, your pets, traveling, doesn't matter. Something you love. And then breathe. And then our final thing we're going to do is we're going to pull something into our mind that we're grateful for. It could be being together as a room. It could be your business. It could be your body. What is it you're grateful for? And then I'm going to throw one more in there and think of one thing you're going to do tonight that's going to be fun. And get that big smile on your face. Open up your eyes and welcome to Relationship ROI. Now, we got him now. I knew that one thing you could do for fun, that would get you guys a little amped up. Now, I started this session with meditation, because of the fact I love it, but really because of the fact that what you all did right there is you connected with the number one thing to build your business, and that is you. All day, what you do is you help other people. We focus on other people. But the reality is we need to make sure we're focusing on ourselves. And you in this room, you are the most important thing to build your business. And what you do as realtors is you create relationships. But often we don't even visualize the fact that these relationships are actually investments. We know if we buy an investment property, we buy a stock, we buy, crypto, whatever it might be, we are doing that with the idea that we are investing with a hope to return something in the future. Well, the reality for all of us in this room as realtors is our relationships are just like those investments. But we need to make sure that we are building them, nurturing them, loving them, and creating them in these deep ways. And in this market, there will never be a more important time for you to focus on relationships, ever. Because relationships get you through any market. And for a lot of realtors, you've never gone through a market that we are in or will go through. And your relationships are the key thing to get you through. So our goal today is that we want you to turn your database into a data bank. We want you to imagine the fact that this beautiful thing that you hold in your hand and that exists in the air is actually a data bank that you're investing in to produce a return. So we're going to go through some introductions of some amazing agents up here on the stage. I'm going to talk briefly about overwhelm and roadblocks, and then we're going to get into some really specific things that these guys do in order to leverage their database and turn it into a data bank. And then I have a couple of challenges. It wouldn't be a Sky Michaels talk if there wasn't a couple of challenges that you have to do after you leave here. So I wanted to just introduce Joanna. Joanna, if you don't mind, let's give everyone a quick introduction of who you are. And then I also want to ask, or give them a description of where you were when you started your business with your database or CRM, and then where you are today.
Perfect. So I'm Joanna Levin. I am based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I am team principal agent of the Emerald Group. Where I started with CRM when I first got into the business was, I'm a very structured person. I always have been, but I didn't really have a place to put anything. So I was just gathering as much information as I could and writing it down on paper and putting it in Excel spreadsheets, trying to get as much information as I could, but I didn't have like a home for anything, so I didn't have a CRM, but I was trying to get as much information as possible. And now everything is automated. I use the Compass CRM. So all that information that I took the time to get now just has a home, and it all has a time and a place of when it's supposed to go out.
Incredible. David, if you don't mind, give introduction and a little bit of where you started, and then where you are today.
Okay. Yeah, so my name is David Yoon. I run the 88 Group up in Los Angeles. I got into real estate about 6 years ago when I was going through a divorce, and I just wanted to keep myself distracted with something. So I ended up getting into this business, not wanting to tell anybody that I was a realtor because I was actually pretty embarrassed to get my real estate license. You know, my experience with realtors has always been like working with boneheads that like don't know how to negotiate properly for me, or they were trying to sell me houses that are right on top of train tracks, but then telling me how beautiful the finishes look and stuff. You know, so that was what I was dealing with when I was younger, and so when I got my license, the only choice that I had to do without going into my own sphere was to buy online leads and try to convert those leads. And then the first 5 months in the business, I closed 16 transactions. And what was happening is my CRM was worse than a Rolodex. It was literally like a notebook, writing names and just notes and stuff on it. And then within half a year, within the 6 months, so many deals, so many people, leads that I had were just falling through the cracks because there was no way for me to keep track of it. So that's how I started. And then I ended up having to hire an assistant because I'm the least tech savvy person you'll ever meet. You know? I swear to you. You know? And I had to hire somebody, and we went around all of Los Angeles asking these top agents that have teams, you know, what do you guys use for a system? How do you do this or that? You know, because I had no idea how to even set up a CRM. And eventually, I found somebody who was willing to talk to me, and he gave me the breakdown of all the stuff that he showed us. You know, and this is what we're trying to share with you today, because ultimately, you know, without having this foundation, our businesses are shot. It's not sustainable. You can't do it. You're going to be grinding all day, every day long, being in the thick of stuff, and not being able to build a sustainable, predictable business. You know, so this is what we're going to go over tonight. Today.
Incredible. Yeah. And my name is Sky Michaels. I'm the head of agent development, and also started the 6 Yammers. If we have any 6 Yammers in the room, appreciate y'all. And more importantly, though, for everyone in this room to know is that I am a realtor, right? I got started in real estate in 2002. I was a teacher. I was poor. I didn't realize how poor you were as a teacher. And I was like, oh my God, I need some money. So I got into real estate thinking, I don't know, sell 3 to 4 homes a year. And then very quickly, it sort of built into this massive business. And that was where I was. Over the years, I always nurtured the people I knew because I moved to Philadelphia knowing 3 people. I knew 3 of my teammates, and that was it. And over time, every time I helped someone, I would make sure I was updating the database. And what I soon realized is this was a pathway for me to retire from real estate. And I'm happy to say I'm retired, not from work, but from active real estate sales, but my database is not. My clients still are interacted with in terms of who I am, in terms of real estate, and I produce referral income now while I get to do what I love, which is teach. So I really want to stress that the importance of what you can uncover today is not just information about your CRM and your database, but is a pathway to a future where you potentially could retire. Because at the end of the day, your business exists in air. We think we sell houses, we don't. We sell memories and experiences. But the people that we know are the ones that remember us. They don't remember us buying or selling houses. They remember what we did. And that's why it's so important and so critical that as you start to grow in your business, that you create authentic relationships that go beyond. I'm looking at some really good friends out here who have done thousands of transactions. If they didn't have a CRM to document, to maintain connection with these people, at the end of the day, they do the work, they move on, and they were just as good as a Zillow agent that someone found online because of the fact that the people forgot who they were. Not that not that they're not bad people. People just forget because they're busy. So I really want to stress that what we're going to try to do today is give you little nuggets of wisdom that you potentially could take and spin into a retirement plan, because your database is your data bank, but not if you don't take care of it and invest in it wisely. So most agents, actually let's play, what word comes to mind when you hear the word CRM? Yay! No. The best thing, no. What word comes to mind? And it's different for everyone. Overwhelmed? Unorganized? What else? Obligation. Yeah, not very fun. What else? What is it? Phone calls. Ugh. Tags. Okay, what else? Like, what emotional word comes to mind? Stress. Thank you. The bottom line is when you guys hear the word CRM or database, often we have these emotions that come up: overwhelmed, scared. A lot of people are scared to work in their database. Time-consuming. Is this everyone in here time-consuming? Does it feel like that represents CRM? Frustrating, right? Oh, this doesn't link to this, or this doesn't do X, Y, Z. The bottom line is that all of us have these emotions that we feel when the word CRM or database pops up. So what we're going to do, and once again, actually, I'm going to have everyone stand up. We're going to take out your cell phone and stand up, and we're just going to do this to keep our energy a little higher. And what I want you to do is take out your cell phone, and you're going to find the phone number of a family member, and you are just going to send them a text that says, I love you, or you could send them a heart emoji, or you just say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. Find a family member and send them that text. And when you're done, you can sit down and then put your phone on the ground. Just kidding. Do not text your email or check your emails and social media, please. How many people are following me now? How many followers I gained? Awesome. I love all my emotional people still typing. Yeah. Congratulations. You just worked in a database. Now, was anyone in this room, let's go back, was anyone in this room overwhelmed by doing that? Maybe some estranged family members, right? Right, scared, right? All these things that we just said, oh, CRM, overwhelmed, blah, 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 blah. Well, the reality is you just use the CRM effortlessly. And raise your hand if that was actually maybe slightly enjoyable, right? The bottom line is your database, I want you to think of it. I want you to remember that little moment. And anytime you feel anything other than that, remember that moment. Remember how easy it was to use a database that is in the palm of your hand every single day, and equate that into your business. And then the solution to all these words and all this is action, right? Everyone in here just took one item of action. So my challenge to everyone is to do one contact every single day. Just one. Organize it. Sort it. and then you reach out. Just like you guys just did. Everyone has this capability, but the bottom line is we create roadblocks to this. And the reason is because we operate as cavemen. Our brains, believe it or not, are still caveman brains. And emotional fear is the same as physical fear. Your brain reacts almost exactly the same when you are threatened physically as when you're threatened emotionally. And the bottom line is when it does that, we create roadblocks. Fight, flight, all these other things we put up there. We just proved how easy it is to work in a database, but we all say it's frustrating, overwhelming, scary, yada, 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 right? So Joanna, I know I've been going a little longer than the first couple of sessions, but what are some roadblocks that you today encounter when you're trying to work in your CRM?
For me, I think the biggest roadblock is, I spent so much time building this foundation of a CRM, but then you get busy, which is great, but then you forget to go back and do the basics of it. And I think you said, this market is going to be so important with the basics. So I think the biggest roadblock for me is that time aspect and just remembering to go back and do everything that you've taught yourself was so important to do.
Yeah, the basics, the basics, you got to where you are because you did the basics, but then you get busy, and that time is the factor that inserts itself. David, how about for you? What is a roadblock?
I can't agree with Joanna more because I know how most of our lives, realtors, we grind. We grind hard every single day, and you don't even know when the next phone call is going to come, what time it is, and it's just nonstop. It's completely nonstop, and it's hard to discipline yourself to find that extra time to keep using your CRM or whatever you're doing to manage your database. But ultimately, though, if you're so busy just working in your business all the time and not working on your business, you will never have a sustainable business. It's just impossible.
Yep.
And you guys all know, you guys all feel it, right? So I think that's the same, I think probably all of us share that same feeling too. It's like how to find the time to be using the CRM.
Yeah, it's so critical. And I think one of the challenges we have as realtors is that we are all ADD, for the most part. And I don't say that like joking around to anyone that is literally diagnosed with that. But as a realtor, we have two times in our brain, now and not now. And most realtors operate in the now. What do I have to do right now? And right now, in your brain, right now, you have all these things that are going through it. Get the checks over, hang the sign, get the listing presentation done, etc. So your brain is constantly operating around the now. And CRM is a not now item. Because if you don't work in your CRM, will anything bad happen right in this moment? No. But our challenge is we need to battle our caveman brain and our distractions, right? The fear of rejection, time. I don't know what to say, right? This is one of the most common things. You look at a name and you instantly feel a little fear, and then the question is, well, what do I say? This is such a common thing that we need to battle. So the bottom line is we often are the greatest blockers to our business. So you are often the greatest blocker to your business because of the fact that we use all these roadblocks to prevent us from doing the actions that are not now, but will ultimately help us in our future. And this is so, so critical because of the fact that if you don't remove the roadblocks, you're never going to move into this world where you can turn your database into a data bank. And that is one of the biggest critical things you need to do. Now, your database into a data bank, we all in this room, I'm looking at all you as agents. You guys all know the basics of a CRM, what it entails, et cetera. But I think one of the key things as well is what not to do with a CRM. So Joanna, if we can start with you, what are some things that you've observed in your career and built in your career are things that you recommend agents not do with their CRM?
When it comes to not to do, I think it's just really important to know who you're speaking to. So with my CRM, I'm very strategic of grouping and tagging. And so I have family and friends and sphere and realtors and vendors and whatnot. So it's very important to know who you're sending what messages to. So whether it's a postcard, whether it is an email blast, you don't want to send your open house email to the entire Compass network when it's supposed to just go to the local Fort Lauderdale agents. You don't want to spam anybody, because if you're spamming people, then you're going to get unsubscribed to. As soon as you get unsubscribed, you can't get those people back. If I'm sending out a postcard, I want to make sure that it's going out to the right geographical area and it's not going out to people that aren't looking to purchase, whether it's in that price point or in that area. So I think it's just really important to know who your target audience is.
Awesome. David, how about for you? What are some things you learned not to do in your business?
So I think even before going into setting up the CRM and seeing what actions you're going to do, we all have to flip the switch from thinking that we're salespeople to being people of customer service. Because if you do flip that switch, then what you message, what you send out is going to be completely different, because we're not trying to sell anything. We're being our authentic self and really trying to serve. And if you want to see exponential growth in your business, that mindset has to be there, that you're giving, that you're providing. You're giving something even before asking for anything. So if you take that and then start building, building the things, like what Joanna said, you have to tag. You got to tag the shit out of every single, any category you could think of. And you could put people, tag 10 different things with one person, but, we have tools like Private Exclusive, or if you want to send a message out to your kids' parents, friends, or whatever. In a split second, I could go into my CRM and send a message to the people who I want to, for whatever it is, and have it catered just for that group of people. And that's how we all have to do it. We all have to make sure we're sending, what not to answer your question, sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Do not ever send stuff to somebody who shouldn't be getting it,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be 100% on anything. You're always going to get some people unsubscribing. But sending a message that somebody doesn't want to read, you're going to get unsubscribed. Yeah. You only got one shot. It's almost impossible to get them back. So I think that's the mistake that a lot of people make, is they don't focus. They don't do the work on, trying to channel the messages to the right people.
Yeah. I think too, David highlights value, right? If you're going to send something out, ask yourself the question: is this spam or is this value? And a great example, we overthink this tremendously. Next week, I'm going to be teaching a Momentum Monday, a technique around using Thanksgiving for your business. You might be like, well, Thanksgiving, why are you sending out pies or no? What you're going to do is you're going to send an email to your clients, once again, using tags, and you're going to say, hey, I'm building a Thanksgiving recipe book. Can you, if you're open to it, can you share your favorite Thanksgiving recipe with me? I'm going to be putting this together to provide to everyone I know. And I did this in a 6 a.m. call. 2 agents did it. And they literally have this beautiful flipping book that they're going to send out digitally. One of the agents is also printing it out as well. And when you do a reach to the people you know, that is a reach of value. But you're not sending it out to 5,000 people who are in your newsletter database, for example. Now, maybe your newsletter, we're going to get to this in a second with some brilliant newsletter pieces as well. Your newsletter can also insert your personal brand. But knowing what it is you don't want to send is sometimes more important than what you do want to send. David, for you as well, what was some of the first steps you took when you were building your database?
So I didn't build it myself. I told you, I'm clueless when it comes to this stuff, but I'm speaking in front of you guys. I'm clueless. But yeah, but for what we did was we studied other high-performing teams and saw what they were doing for accountability. So our CRM, it's built to not only manage my business, but my team members' business, and then it allows me to oversee the whole team's business. So when I'm having one-on-one meetings with them, I could see if somebody's kind of slowing down, if things are not happening, if they're not. It's so very easy to go into their CRM and see that they're not touching this person enough. They forgot to even celebrate the anniversary or whatever it is, or if they're getting leads, they're not making even close enough amount of contacts that they should be making, to get them to come around. Because ultimately, we don't even know. We think that once we send a message out, we want people to read it, but that's not the case. Buyers and sellers are not wanting to buy when you are sending them a message. We have no idea when they're going to be ready, and the only thing that you can do is just keep touching them, keep nurturing in a different way. And I personally believe that it should be more of an 80% personal and 20% business. You don't want to talk about real estate 100% of the time, Because we don't like to get stuff like that from anybody in any industry. So why would other people want to just hear only about jamming real estate down our throat? I just don't think that's the right way to approach people.
Right.
Yeah.
So Joanna, give a little bit of clues to everyone. Like now you've come a long way. What are some really specific things that you do within your business that people could learn from leaving this session?
I'm just very structured, so everything I do has a plan. So like when I first started on like building the database, the first thing I did was birthdays. Everything, that's like the simplest thing you can do. You can go and you can use Facebook as a tool. Everybody has their birthday on Facebook. So you can spend a few hours and literally go through every month on Facebook and find your entire database's birthday. So plugging that in, and then home anniversary. So those were like the two key points I did, because those were like everybody's biggest things that they love to hear about. And so those two action plans, and then I set action plans for it in the CRM. Compass already has it set for you. You don't even need to think about it. So those are the two biggest takeaways that I get the most return on investment from. From there, I then dig in a little bit further. So I try to do things like one step at a time, as to like not overwhelm myself. So birthdays and home anniversaries, then addresses, kids' birthdays, husband's, mom's name, like everything else after that. So I try to just do little things at a time, so it doesn't like overwhelm me.
Great. And then talk a little bit about your content that you put into all the things you do.
Yeah, so I do social media content as well. That is also very structured for me. I pre-plan all of my content, obviously not like my stories or anything, but so this is a picture of my content calendar. There's so many that you can use, but I'm a firm believer that you need to be engaged with a lot of, like what David said, it can't all be real estate related, but you do need to tell people you're a realtor, otherwise they won't know. So I pre-plan my content. These are posts. I engage on my stories. People need to know what you're doing. And for me, I have this term I like to use. It's called my hidden database. I stay in front of people through social media. There's only so many people you can find or that you can remember from your phone and get their physical addresses to send them the holiday cards. And you don't have everybody's emails, but I mean, I've been on Facebook since I was 16, so these people we've been connected for so long. We connect on DMs and through Facebook Messenger, and they are following you, they are watching you. So this is it's like a secret hidden database that it is there, and you have to tap into it without sending postcards, without calling, because you don't have their numbers yet. So if you stay on top of it this way, it's a different way to stay in touch and to stay in front of people, so that way they're comfortable reaching out to you when they're ready to buy or sell a home.
Joanna, you said something really powerful I want everyone to hear, is a hidden database. We have social media. We think social media is like how we sell houses or we interact with people. The reality is social media is just a big database. But it's hidden because we don't think of it. The other thing, a term I want to give everyone in this room, is reverse social media. So when you log into your platform, you see what Instagram or Facebook gives you. But we don't need to buy into that. What we can do is reverse engineer social media, and we can use social media as a window into people's lives. And Joanna has action plans she's built out. One step you can add into your action plans is a day of reverse social media. So one day a year, you take 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and you just scroll. You scroll. Why are we doing this? Because Instagram is giving me who they want me to see, but I'm going to tell Instagram I want to see this person. And I'm scrolling because I'm looking for what's going on in their lives. So when I connect with them, I'm not connecting with them about my open house, my just listed. I'm connecting them about their life. I am connecting with them about their life. And it removes that issue of what do I say. It removes it. It's gone. And when you input your CRM, we often talk about addresses and emails and phone numbers. We often forget to put the links of their social media into the Compass CRM. But when you do that, the action plan comes up. The more you automate and structure it, clicking on that link quickly to see what's going on, scroll, 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 60 seconds. Oh my God, they just had a baby. Thank you note, out the card, baby gift. They just got a puppy. Here's a Compass, dog leash, whatever it might be. Reverse social media allows you to see into your clients' lives in ways that you have no idea, that never existed before. But you got to use it in a way that flips it on its head. David, for you, what are some specific things that you do? And actually, we're going to pull it up onto the screen. How do you interact with your past clients and your database?
So I interact in a lot of ways. I send emails, texts, I post on social media and stuff, but what's been the most impactful for me, and there's a lot of things. If you guys want to message us afterwards, even during a transaction or after a transaction, there's a lot of services that you could use that make it, you don't have to do anything. You purchase a plan, it could be a couple dollars a month, or it could be like $2,000, $3,000, and everything in between. You could make yourself, we all know what a one-star agent is, right? One-star agent doesn't pick up their phone when you're trying to get a showing. They're never responsive, and they freaking blow up deals. Five-star agents, maybe they'll go through a transaction smooth, and you close a deal. That's a typical five-star agent. My aim and my team's aim is always to be 8-star agents. All those other things that most agents aren't doing, the resources that we have to automate certain things. Like, Sky teaches this thing on CMA a day, right? There's systems that can do that for you too. Not as good as like us actually pulling the comps ourselves, but then there's services that they'll come and they'll switch over the utilities for the people's name. They'll send a whole package of boxes before the moving day. They'll do like, say a week or 2 weeks after closing, you can send a driver to their house and they'll bring them out to a dinner and stuff. There's so many different things, and I've gotten so many referrals from me not even having to think about it. These services, these things I put into play. Now, one other way that I get a lot of my business is I send out newsletters. My newsletters are not it's very rarely real estate related. It's things that everybody does, maybe food or health or life hacks or things that anybody could use in their life. And I always try to bring a sense of humor to it. So this past year, I sent an email. I had COVID over the holidays, and it was National Bird Day. So I took a picture of my bed. I literally have COVID at this time, and I have middle finger up, and I'm like, fuck COVID, because it sucked, And immediately, I got over 1,000 responses from people. Tons of Compass agents, tons of people in my sphere, and a lot of people were empathetic. They knew that I was sick, and they were telling me stories about their mother just passed away. Their husband just shut down his restaurant after 15 years of running it. Like all these real stories started coming to me, and it took me literally a week and a half to just go through and engage with all these people. What happened was it built relationships with other agents where, they liked my personality, so they started sending me referrals and vice versa. Clients that are people who were not necessarily thinking about buying, I ended up getting into conversations with them, and then they ended up buying a house. So anyhow, what happened was I got a lot of heat. I got a lot of heat from Compass. There was people sending me emails saying, who are you to, curse and send it to me or something like that, you should be fired. And a lot of people send emails up to the food chain to our heads, and I got called out. I don't know if you guys remember last year, Leonard sending an email about there's no place for profanity in this, right? Because I'm an embarrassment to our reputation, what we've worked so hard for. But the thing is, we're listening to a couple of people who are complaining, but the thousands of emails that people with positive response and multiple, not only relationship, but business activities that were generated 3-4 days later, after they told me, you can't send emails anymore, we're going to have oversight on you and stuff. I tested negative, and then boom, my tasteless email went out. You guys know the CD, Straight Outta Quarantine, the album cover? That's what it resembles. And on my email, I just wrote, my tasteless email. And it was supposed to look like an apology. But instead, if you read the email, I said, I've noticed that some of you guys thought my last email that I sent out was tasteless. And I said, it's not my fault that losing your taste is one of the side effects of this disease. Right? And then I went in on sharing the message. I went in on sharing the message that COVID, this was something that was very powerful. Nobody loves COVID. Nobody did. There was not one, and I wasn't being polarizing about it. I wasn't saying anything more than I have COVID. It sucks. I hope everybody else has a safe and happy holiday. But that second email that went out gained even more respect from my friends, because they knew that something happened. They knew that I was speaking out, saying that as long as our intentions are good, our heart is in the right place, it's okay to be real. It's okay to say however you want to feel. And it's not anybody's right to tell you you're doing something wrong, because you're telling people how you feel about stuff. And when you're honest with yourself and you're authentic, a lot of other good things and people will come to you. And my whole point is when I send these emails out, So when I send these emails out, I'm talking about, just having one like or one comment or one something, because that's when they open the door for engagement. When they comment and DM you or something, that's your chance to now start that conversation, and not necessarily talk about real estate, but eventually it'll get to that point, and you keep doing it. And so this one thing I did, you see me dressed up as Barbie. This is March, this past March. I was raising money for the Children's Hospital in LA. So I got dressed up in a Barbie, and if you go to my Instagram, you'll see me dancing in a box to like, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie. Yeah. And that Leonard actually was like so great, and he pushed that. He sent it out to all you guys too, and I got people to engage in a social media post that I did. They're contributing. A lot of people are sending me messages and stuff. And another one I did was, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? This is you guys know that trendy song that was money doesn't jiggle jiggle, it folds. Yeah. So I ended up I don't have a good body, but I took my shirt off anyway, and I'm making fun of myself. And in that post, I had 3 different topics, and it was about generating income, like passive income, like it's kind of like money hacks, and buying investment properties. Within 2 weeks, I had 5 deals in escrow just from that one email. And what happened was people opened up my email because they think that my message is always genuine. I'm not talking about really selling anything. Another one I did was remember in June when interest rates started going up like crazy, right? The market started shifting for all of us, right? And we heard from everybody watching the news, listening from everybody. They're like, things are changing and whatever, and all you could hear was just negative news about what was going to be what we're dealing with right now. But and then also coincidentally, you guys know sriracha, the hot sauce, right? Because of the supply chain issues, they had to shut down the factory, and literally there was a sriracha shortage. It was for me, it was like the worst thing ever. I went to Koreatown in LA, and there was one store that had a whole bunch, and it said limit 1 per person. I literally went to the place, brought 10 different outfits, walked in, and got 10 different things just to make this post. So my subject was stop bitching. It was stop bitching, and I wrote a whole thing about there's always going to be shit news everywhere. You could always look at something and it could be something negative, but we have the opportunity to change that negative and to be a positive. Doesn't mean just because we're dealt the crappy hand in poker, you can't win. And these types of messages have nothing to do with real estate, but actually touches people in different ways that makes them want to engage with you. And that's what I'm trying to say. Just be you. The first thing you do has to figure out what your personal brand is, and then put it out there and own it, and don't be ashamed of it. And I guarantee you that ROI will come from the relationships and how you're touching them.
And that authenticity is, once again, you don't need to look at what David does and say, oh, I need to be more funny. No, you need to look at what David does and say, David is David. Joanna is Joanna. If you look at Joanna's social media, it is her. Her puppy FaceTimed her today before the presentation. If you go, she loves her dog. And she loves her friends. She loves her business, right? David loves making people laugh. He loves interacting with people in a really high way. I love motivation. The bottom line is you got to find your authentic self, and using your database, you make sure that message gets to the right people at the right time and with the right message. Your authentic self has to be everything.
I think that goes back to reaching out to the wrong people. If I did that Barbie and I sent that out to my sphere, that would go to the wrong people. If you're not yourself, it doesn't resonate. It's you need to truly be yourself, and that part's the easy part. Figuring out the content and how to post is the hard part, but being yourself is the easy thing.
That's right. And the bottom line is, leaving here, you need to make sure you're focusing on organization every single day. Your business is selling real estate and everything. Your job is to organize. When you organize, you generate leads. In addition, we need to focus on the long game, the not now. Every single day, wake up and ask yourself the question, what is it I'm going to do today? Not to benefit me today, because that's what running checks around and closing deals and showing houses, that's benefiting you today. How am I going to benefit me a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now? We got to make sure every single day we're focused on the long game. The next two go together. We need to be relatable. People need to relate to us. Now, David's, people that follow David and who he sends that stuff to, they relate to his stuff, right? Authenticity. He's so authentic. Joanna, same thing. If you know me, I'm the same way. And at the end of the day, you need to find what makes you relatable to the people you care about and authentic to those people as well. And then anything you do to automate your social media and reverse it, right? Scrolling for hours and hours on social media is not extremely effective, and actually is probably pretty depressing. Reversing social media. When you go and you look at one of your really good friends or your past clients, and you find out something really amazing just happened in their life, and you reach out to them, and they respond back, and that relationship that you developed from looking at 30 houses like 5, 6 years ago gets rekindled in an authentic way. I can't stress enough to you in this room how much that fuels you as a realtor and a person and a professional. So you have to reverse social media and make sure if you're doing stuff, try as much as you can to automate it, meaning your content is just rolling out. And the bottom line is I want you to leave here taking action. Now, you don't need to do everything we talked about. But I challenge every single person in this room to make a commitment to do one thing, right? My t-shirt, 1% better every day. It's this concept that we don't need to worry about what everyone else is doing. We need to worry about what we are doing. So take action. Now, there's lots of ways you can take, but I have a challenge. We're going to email you these slides. But if you really want to get ready for this next market, and this next market may be here for you already, it may not be here yet, but it's coming. We need to learn how to lead generate again. We need to change our mindset that we are going to work on our business. But I want you to challenge you to have fun with it. You need to create a system where you are going to have fun, quote unquote, lead generate every single day, but you're not going to look at it like the grind, that this is a challenge, that I'm overwhelmed and I'm scared. I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to generate leads. Every day, Monday through Friday, I challenge you to come up with 5 things that you can do. Now I'm going to play a little bit on Mel Robbins' 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is just an example of what you can do. But I guarantee if you do this, your business in 2023, it won't matter what's happening in the news, in the market, in a recession. It won't matter because your database, your relationships are going to be so strong. Every day, organize 5 contacts. Meaning you go in, you group, you tag, you put their social media in, and that's it. It takes you 5 minutes. Send 4 compliments a day. You can do this via text. You can do it via email, handwritten, with handwritten notes, but do it in some way where you extend